Happy New Day to you all. It is a pleasure to be with you once again this morning to share a few lessons, teaching with you. At times, I wonder if the message that we share here actually reach you for your understanding. If you notice, we don't preach. We give you sermons, lessons, sermons. We might assume that you know a few things and teach some things. The assumption might be wrong, and you might end up confusing you. And I wonder why members don't ask questions. If you don't have the opportunity or you are feeling uncomfortable to ask here, you can ask on the page for explanation of some things that we have taught here. Otherwise, we will only end up confusing you all the time. And our aim, the goal for which we come to sit here every Sunday, will become meaningless. So you need to be inquisitive. You need to inquire, ponder about what we talk about here. If you don't understand, please ask. And we will explain more. And then by doing that, we will also not be assuming things on your behalf. Today, I would like to talk about how to live with enlightened purpose. How to live with enlightened purpose. Have you ever stopped in your life to ask yourself why you are here on earth? These are some of the questions that we need to be asking ourselves if actually we want to be impactful here on earth. One thing is certain: no one living on this earth today is here by accident. Every one of us has a reason for being here. We each have a purpose to fulfill, a role to play in the great unfolding world or life. Have you ever asked yourself why you are here? The purpose for which you find yourself at a particular place or station in life? We are not meaningless bystanders in creation. You are co-creator with God. So in other words, you are here to create and continue with creation. Think about it for a moment. How did creation come into existence? Through God's or divine imagination, focus, intention, the exercise of will, and an unwavering faith. In our own way, We engage in these things, these creative processes every day. We imagine possibilities, focus our minds on them, make choices, and bring them into reality. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly participating in the ongoing work of creation. The Bible tells us that after creating the world, on the seventh day, God rested. Let me tell you something. That period of rest ended long ago. Yet, many of us who are called to continue the work of creation are still resting. We continue to dream when we should be awake. The great masters, saints, prophets, gurus, or let me call them the awakened ones, have repeatedly called on us to wake up from our slumber, our dream state. But their messages have always fallen on deaf ears. And the message is always the same. Awaken to who you truly are and to the purpose for which you have come into this world. Unfortunately, many of us remain trapped in that dream. Have you heard that call before? That awaken to your true nature. Even if you hear it, it comes here and goes to the other way because you are still in that state, that trance of dream. Yet in that dream, deep within ourselves, we know there is something more. There is an inner knowing that tells us that we have a job to do. We have a task to perform, a destiny to fulfill. The challenge is that our perception has become clouded. We see life through the distortions of fear, desire, ego, and ignorance. As a result, our actions fall out of harmony with the divine will, that is, the God will. When this happens, we create unwanted circumstances, which I will call here karma, with its consequences, which bind us more tightly to our limited understanding and deepen our spiritual slumber. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves in that vicious cycle of birth and death and reincarnation. We don't want to be coming back here all the time. If we should come, it should be with our own intention, our own choice. Not that we are forced to reincarnate because of the circumstances we have created for ourselves. Remember, I always say that spiritual life is not separate from our everyday life. Many people think spiritualities belong in places of worship, meditation halls, or secret gatherings. But true spirituality is lived in our homes, workplaces, relationship, and daily responsibilities. True spirituality is expressed in the way we think, speak, act, and serve. Our very essence is spiritual. So whatever we do, whether you are aware of it or not, is spiritual. Understanding this is one of the most important shifts in awareness a person can make. Real spiritual growth begins when we stop separating the spiritual from the ordinary and start recognizing that all of life is spiritual. Let me repeat that side. Real spiritual growth begins when we stop separating the spiritual from the ordinary and start recognizing that all of life is spiritual. To make this shift, we must learn to live with enlightened purpose. What does this mean? To live is to be fully alive. To be enlightened is to possess understanding, awareness, and wisdom. To have purpose is to be committed to a meaningful aim or goal. Therefore, to live enlightened purpose is to live consciously, wisely, and intentionally with clear understanding of why you are here and what you are called to do. The Buddha taught that only the person who lives rightly come to understand the deeper teaching of life. In other words, wisdom is not gained merely by studying spiritual truth. It is gained by living from them. Let me repeat that quote. Buddha said, and I quote, that only the person who lives rightly comes to understand the deeper teaching of life. In other words, wisdom is not gained merely by studying spiritual truth. It is gained by living them. Our ultimate purpose is to restore our awareness to its original state of purity. We seek to awaken to our true nature and rediscover our unity with the divine. But this awakening does not happen all at once. It unfolds through the many smaller purposes and responsibilities that life places before us each day. Every challenge, every duty, every relationship, and every opportunity contributes to our growth and understanding. So, wherever you find yourself today, accept that this is where life has placed you for a reason. Do not spend your time wishing you were somewhere else or doing something different. Instead, rise up and embrace the task before you. Fulfill your present responsibilities with dedication and awareness. Wherever you find yourself, whether you are the chief executive or the laborer or teacher, whatever vocation you find yourself in, whatever you are doing, do it and do it well. Life has placed you there for a purpose. And you must learn to live that purpose with an enlightened awareness. Approach your duties as though God were watching you. And in fact, approach them as though God were about to inspect the finished work. Because in a very real sense, that is exactly what is happening. People you encounter every day are opportunities through which God measures your growth. Through them, your patience is tested, your compassion is revealed, your integrity is examined, and your wisdom is refined. Imagine how differently you will live if you truly saw God in everyone you met. Imagine how differently you will speak, work, and serve if you actually see God in every circumstance, in everything, in everybody. When you open your eyes to this truth, guidance begins to come naturally. You discover that the wisdom you need is already within you. If your daily life brings happiness to others, improve your environment, and create peace within your own heart, then you are living with enlightened purpose. Whatever you do it wholeheartedly. Then offer the result to God. When you do this, you free yourself from attachment, anxiety, and disappointment. You learn to focus on the effort rather than the outcome, trusting that the results belong to a higher wisdom, God. Roy Eugene Davis beautifully expresses this way, and I quote, "Focus on what is essential and renounce the non-essentials to fulfill your purpose as efficiently and quickly as possible. Even while involved in worldly activities and relationships, remain inwardly aware of your true self and your relationship with God. This is the way to live with enlightened purpose and fulfill your personal destiny." Let me repeat this one. Royal said, "Focus on what is essential and renounce the non-essentials to fulfill your purpose as efficiently and quickly as possible. Even while involved in worldly activities and relationships, remain inwardly aware of your true self and your relationship with God. This is the way to live with enlightened purpose and fulfill your personal destiny. Unquote. The call before us is simple and but profound. Wake up. Recognize why you are here. Embrace the work that has been placed in your hands. Live each day consciously, purposefully, and in harmony with God or with the divine. For when we live with enlightened purpose, every moment becomes sacred, every task becomes meaningful, and every step brings us closer to the realization of our true nature. Namaste.